Today you had a conference just some minutes ago talking about a new project in where you are involved in, which is TPO, the People Operator.
Yes.
How is it that Jamie Wales starts now on a project like that? An operator, a telephony operator, mobile operator?
Well, I'm always an entrepreneur. I'm always looking for what's new and some interesting projects. So the People's Operator is a mobile phone company where 10% of your bill goes to the cause of your choice and 25% of the company's profits go to charity. We're launched in the UK and in the US, growing very quickly in both countries, and we hope to launch in more countries as quickly as we can.
You're in UK, US. Are you planning to be in Spain or in Catalonia soon?
Yes. We plan to be in Spain as quickly as we can, hopefully sometime next year.
Great.
So, we'll see.
There is something that was kind of exciting for everyone who was on your conference, which was the fact that, as you said right now, 10% is for the cause you choose, 25% is for charity. Which is the kind of the charity? Is it chosen by the people? Is it chosen by TPO, or how does that part work?
So for the 10%, you can choose any cause that you want. So any charity, anything you want, really. For the 25% of the company's profits, they go to charity. Well, so far we're not profitable. We're a growing company, so that part is just in name only at the moment. But what we have the TPO Foundation. And the initial thought is that it will be devoted to educational charities and distribute the money accordingly. But we're looking into how to let our community of users help us make those decisions.
And which would be the message that the rest of operators, the well-known ones, AT&T's, Telefonica here, Vodafone, whatever, should understand when a guy like you gets into a project where 35% is out of your benefits, and you leave them just for helping people and all that. Which is the message you're giving to them? Are they enriching too much their companies instead of helping society?
Our where we see this coming from is the 10% in particular comes from our marketing budget. So it's a different form of marketing. And so we're not trying to be critical of traditional business models. I mean, there's nothing wrong with running advertising and getting customers that way. But I see a new way of doing things where people spread the word online, word of mouth, telling their friends about something interesting. And I think it's a big opportunity. So I think a lot of businesses, not just in the mobile industry, but around the world in all kinds of fields, can look at how they might gain customers by doing good in the world.
You said right. TPO is not spending money on marketing. That's right?
No, very little compared to a traditional operator.
Not having that money that you would spend on marketing, is it the same time, or not having marketing, is it the same time doing marketing?
In a sense, yes. Certainly, what we find is that today, if you have an interesting story, people will tell their friends, and they can tell their friends much more easily than they could in the past. And that becomes your marketing budget. By doing something people think is good and interesting, then the story carries. And if you're not, then maybe you just have to pay millions and millions for advertising. And
so in a way, we're saying that a guy like you, who's been leading companies like Wikipedia, which is one of the fifth top sites in the world, one of the most brilliant minds probably on that sense in this century, is going back to the old marketing, word of mouth.
Word of mouth, yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, it's, 50 years ago, if you really loved something, you probably told 5 people, and now you probably post on Facebook and tell 300 people. So it's a real change that puts a lot of power in the hands of consumers, and I'd like to see that further. And
apart from that, in technical reasons or details about TPO, is it any different from the rest of companies?
No, the service, I mean, we partner with existing carriers, we look for good coverage and things like that, and we're on their network, and so other than the business model, it's exactly the same service that you're used to everywhere.
Is it cheaper or not?
It's generally a little bit cheaper than the majors. We don't try to be the cheapest on the marketplace because we have to give the 10%, but we do want it to be a good deal, good value.
Is it that the way that many people should understand it? I know that many people have been obsessed on the last years on how is Jimmy Wales getting the money out of, because Wikipedia is not getting money out of there's no benefits for the people who's working there, and you many times explain in interviews that don't worry about my businesses, I'm okay, I'm living okay, I've got enough money, don't worry about me.
Right, yeah.
Is TPO the solution to maybe?
There's also Wikia. Wikia is the for-profit wiki company. It's doing very well. It's in the top 20 of all websites. So, I'll be all right. People shouldn't worry about me.
Okay, just let me ask you a bit about Wikipedia. Wikipedia is probably one of the most powerful tools right now on the internet. But you've never been kind of on the same level, or you never wanted to be connected with the big guys on other platforms like Twitters, Facebooks, and all that. It's been always different, like separated.
Yeah.
Why did you make that, or was it naturally, or?
Well, I mean, for us, it's just a natural outgrowth of our philosophy. We're very community oriented. We're very neutral, so we don't favor one vendor over another as much as possible. So. For us, we've always been a bit like Switzerland, so we don't engage in partnerships the way other people do.
There was something that I read from you which I thought it was interesting, and I've read it from some little brilliant minds, which was that now the great deal is to have the rest of the world connected. Those 4 billion people who was not connected in the world.
Yes.
And that was exactly what Zuckerberg was saying on his keynote on Monday. What do you think about his purpose on that intention to get the world connected?
Well, I mean, I think something that we all should be thinking about, that we know the enormous benefit that the internet has brought to our lives, and we know that with Moore's Law, the price of technology continues to decline very, very quickly, that the price of connectivity is declining very quickly, and that we will have the ability very soon in the next 10 to 20 years to reach everyone in the world with mobile technology, with internet technology. And this is one of the most important social changes of our lifetime. And it's happening now. It's something that we should all be very passionate about.
And everything has to still keep free?
Yeah.
Does it have to be free, everything?
No,
Is that a good lesson for the people? I mean, for the young guys who are arriving, everything is free. Life is free.
Not everything is free, and I do think, obviously you have to pay for phone service and pay for internet. There's infrastructure that has to be paid for. I think that subscription models for newspapers are growing. Apps, you pay money to have an app, and maybe you pay money for digital books and magazines and things like this. But we also have some things that are free. So I think we'll continue to see a mix of free services, paid services. I don't think we're going to go for all one or all the other.
And Wikipedia will continue free?
Wikipedia will continue free, no question.
Okay, you were saying that Wikipedia, you always try to be really neutral, which is one of the main principles of the 3 core principles of Wikipedia. It's neutrality, neutral point of view.
Yes.
What would you tell to that amount of teachers, professionals, journalists, and everyone around who thinks that don't trust Wikipedia? I mean, you cannot check Wikipedia as a reliable source. Is it, after many experiments that we saw on Halaves and people trying to check how strong it was, how clear it was when they compared with other scientific documents, how really good it is?
Well, I mean, we always say Wikipedia is a great starting point for research, but probably not the best ending point. The best academic studies show that Wikipedia is of similar quality to traditional encyclopedias. We think that's a good thing. But we do think people should use caution. I mean, Wikipedia does have errors in it, and we're very passionate about fixing those errors. If you see an error, please help us fix it. That's kind of our philosophy.
Okay, just about that and about the way Wikipedia works. I read some time ago, and I don't know if it was kind of a rumor or not, that you were planning, and it never happened, to put some kind of traffic light, red, green, and yellow, in case that document was approved by the organization, institution, or whatever, or not. Kind of trusted, 100% trusted or not. Was that?
Well, we do have sort of internal ratings. We have different wiki projects. So Wiki Project Medicine, for example, goes around and they rate our entries A, B, C, D level. And if they're low level, then they receive additional attention from that group of editors. So we do try to have quality controls and to really think about how do we rate things, how do we organize our work so that we're doing the most high impact work as we try to improve the site. So there's a lot of efforts like that going on.
And one last question about Wikipedia. Wikipedia has got a strong version of Wikipedia. It's called in Catalan Wikipedia, which is the Catalan version of Wikipedia, which is really strong, a growing platform. I know you've got lots of editors helping here to just push hard.
Yes.
Which is your, how do you kind of read that? How do you understand that sense? I mean, how is it possible that Catalan has such a powerful Wikipedia?
Yeah, what we see is that Catalan has always been one of our strongest communities. I know they're pushing to get 500,000 entries by their 15th birthday, so that's an exciting development. And the reason for that is it's very common. We see it with regional languages around the world, particularly languages that have been under pressure in the past in the school systems and things. And now people feel free to passionately pursue their mother tongue language. People care a lot about Catalan language, and they really want it to be a strong language and preserved. And this is reflected naturally in Wikipedia, which we think is wonderful.
All right, one last thing. You're in 4 years from now, entrepreneurs, startups, all kind of ideas. Which would be your recommendation for any guy, anyone who's starting a project, who's starting a startup? What would you recommend?
I mean, I think that the main thing is find something that you personally think is super interesting and work on that. Maybe it won't be successful, but if it's not successful, at least you did something interesting. But you also have the highest chance of success if you're looking at something that you personally are very passionate about.
All right, thanks very much, Mr. Wales, for having this time for us. It was a pleasure.
Yes, great. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Super.
Thank you.
All right.